The scene which I am going to be summarizing is from Act 3, and the scene is 4. In this scene, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are holding a feast at the castle. As they enter the party, as the new king and queen, Macbeth is greeted at the doorway by the first murderer. Macbeth and the murderer are having a conversation about the execution of Banquo. Macbeth asks if Banquo had been killed, and the first murderer replies by saying that he did. Macbeth also says that if he, the murderer, had killed Fleance as well, he would be the absolute best. But the first murderer brings bad news to Macbeth by telling him that Fleance has escaped. Macbeth becomes scared, and he is tangled with his doubts and fears. The murder of Fleance is important because it would have secured the Thane of Cawdor's place as king. Macbeth asks the murderer again about Banquo and asks if he had been taken care of. The murderer says that he is in a ditch with 20 gashes in his head. Lady Macbeth comes in, and Macbeth tells the first murderer to leave, and Lady Macbeth is talking to Macbeth about the feast that they are having, and that he should entertain their guests, and if he doesn't come, he won't make them feel welcome. As Macbeth enters, Lennox comes and greets Macbeth and offers him a seat at the royal table. Macbeth looks over, and he doesn't see any empty chairs. Lennox points to a seat which he sees as empty, but Macbeth sees a hallucination of Banquo sitting there. He becomes frightened, and he is talking to Banquo's ghost. Macbeth says to the ghost, "Thou canst not say I did. Never shake thy gory locks at me." Macbeth is fanatical by seeing the ghost because the ghost isn't real. It's his guilt which is haunting him. Ross says that His Highness is not feeling well, and so Lady Macbeth comes and helps Macbeth to leave the room. But as she is going, she lies to the guests about Macbeth's behavior by telling them that he has been having visions like this since he was a child, and that soon enough he will return to his normal state. As she also tells him to ignore his behavior if it occurs again. While the lady is with Macbeth outside, she whispers to him, "Are you a man?" She says that it is nonsense seeing a ghost, and that it's just one of his hallucinations. She mentions the floating dagger which Macbeth saw just before he had to murder Duncan. From what Lady Macbeth is talking about, it seems as hallucinations and manhood are linked. It's also his foolishness which has been paralyzed him completely. As Macbeth re-enters the feast, and he starts to propose a toast about Banquo, and how he wished that his dear friend was with him here today. The ghost of Banquo reappears again, and Macbeth frantically asks the ghost to leave. Macbeth is yelling at the ghost and says that if he was brave and as any other man, he would have come back in the form of a ferocious animal or any other man to challenge Macbeth. And if Macbeth trembles, Banquo can refer to him as a little girl. Macbeth continues to scream at his hallucinations and asking it to get out. Lady Macbeth then goes and talks to Macbeth and says that he had ruined a good night by making a complete fool of himself. While Macbeth is talking, he unintentionally foreshadows his murder by saying that the dead will have revenge, and the gravestones have been known to move and bring guilty men to justice, and that the craftiest murders have been exposed by mythical signs. Macbeth then tells Lady Macbeth that he is going to see the witches tomorrow, so that they can tell him more about who is against him. He is determined to learn about himself, and his own safety was important to him right now. At the end of the scene, the lady and Macbeth retire. From analyzing the scene, the supernatural spirits are being talked about by using Banquo's ghost, and his hallucinations are linked together, and that Lady Macbeth is commenting on it. Macbeth's manhood and hallucinations are intertwined because every time Macbeth has a hallucination, Lady Macbeth questions his manhood. The same thing happens previously when Macbeth is not certain about killing Duncan, and he sees the floating dagger, and the lady questions his manhood again. For Macbeth, as his hallucinations and his guilt escalate, so does his hysteria to remain king.